Why did the Joker send Harley Quinn a picture of Robin?
Oh man, I can only imagine. I got nothing.
She asked for a dick pic.
Oh Jesus!
It's going to be one of those kind of shows tonight, I think. Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live and the Retro Reveal. On behalf of Comic Food 2814 and Tim the Comic Collector, I welcome Signature King Tony Fett to the show. How are you?
I am good. Ready
Good.
to knock this week out.
That's great. As my shirt says, that's awesome.
No, I mean like this is a good thing. I'm ready for Monday through Saturday.
Oh, I hear you on that because I have next weekend off. So
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
with you on that. So yeah. How was your week? Anything new? Anything fun?
Not really. Just kind of hanging out at home. I had some plans to go to some LCSs, but an LCS in the area closed.
Oh no.
Um, but
That's not a good
is
thing.
being revived
Okay.
because they're part of a mall that's
Hmm.
being demolished.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
they didn't really know what to do, but no, they're
So
making
they
a
didn't
comeback.
necessarily go out of business because they wanted to.
No, they were
Okay.
forced to because
Okay.
the mall is closed and being torn into I think business to some kind of business development. I
Okay.
don't know.
Well, hopefully
Luckily, they're making a comeback.
yeah, and they'll be bigger and better than ever, and they get lots of
Yeah.
support when they come back.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So we're not at MegaCon. If you
It seems like everyone is.
Everyone else is. We're not.
No.
But
And I
let's
guess
go
there
ahead.
was a MegaCon experience you could purchase where you
Mm-hmm.
were invited to a rooftop party.
Mm.
I use the party term very loosely because it looked like it was just they just moved the convention on the roof at night.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a lot of friends that went to this
Mm-hmm.
rooftop thing,
Yep.
and they're just hanging out with people like Jeff Johns. They're
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with people like Jason Fabach, just hanging out at this party, and it looks like it's so cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
I wish I could go.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah,
Let's say hello to our first live guest that's joining us in the live chat. It's Kenneth Bird. Hope that you're
Kenneth
doing
Bird.
well. Yeah. And hello to everyone that's watching on the rewind as well. We certainly do appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what's going on news-wise?
The big news was published about 6 hours ago.
Okay.
And it
Then I don't know it, so you'll have to tell me.
it's fresh.
Okay.
So fresh you can't even eat it yet. It's too hot.
Okay.
The rumored villain for Batman 2, I don't know if you've been reading up on
I have
that,
not.
is Clayface. That he's going to
Interesting.
be the central big bad, similar to the Riddler was for the first movie, but they're sprinkling in other villains. And apparently, let me get back to here. Where is it? Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Apparently, this second Batman movie, main villain's going to be Clayface. The backup B villain is going to be Killer Croc. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, neither one have been used before in a live action movie, so.
Killer Croc has. He was in the first Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess I meant in a Batman movie.
Not in a Batman movie. You're right. They've never met on the big screen in a Batman movie, and he's a OG Batman villain. So, interesting. What do you think? I like the fact that they're bringing in some minor villains. I'm curious to how they're going to do Clayface.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
Because he can be anybody. He can be anybody. That'd be cool. And they want to, according to the article, they want to somehow, my guess is probably towards the end, have a Talon appearance or tease the Court of Owls.
Okay.
So that would be awesome if they could tease the Court of Owls.
Yeah. Do movies, just in general, need a secondary villain?
No, but if you do it right, it would work.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it right and it would work. So in my brain, so okay, the story would go, Batman's looking in the sewers for this monster that's eating people and it's Killer Croc. But he stumbles upon Clayface or some kind of thing like that. I mean, you could do it. And I think the Batman, the first one, did it right. So, and I hope they continue that positive momentum going forward. You could do multiple villains, absolutely,
Okay.
if done properly, as
Okay.
long as it fits in the story.
Yeah.
You could absolutely do it.
So speaking of Batman, it's been announced that Katie Kubert is going to be a temporary editor for Batman titles.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I think that's relation to Joe Kubert, but I'm not 100%.
Oh yeah, the Kubert. So, yeah, Kubert.
Yeah, the Kubert family has ties into comic books. So, Chip Zdarsky kind of broke that news that she'll be editing for a while. They're looking for a permanent, dedicated Batman group editor, but in the meantime, she's going to be filling that role.
I wonder what the role of an editor entails. Like, what's your job?
I would be interested in that. Yeah. I think it's probably keeping a lot of consistency and making sure the characters are on brand with what corporate wants.
That's true.
That's what I would think it is.
No, that makes sense.
Let's say hello to Super Russ 9000. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for stopping by.
I got to shout out Russ. If you haven't subbed him up, definitely do so. He's got a super ambitious goal of hitting 9,000 subs. So if you haven't, please sub up Super Russ 9000.
Actually, he needs 9,001, so he can say, it's over 9,000.
That's true. So it'll be true. This would be true. Also, Simple Simon, member of our cool comic book community,
awesome too.
Has a membership available, and he missed a huge opportunity.
Okay, what happened?
I forget that he offered channel memberships.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were Simple Simon, I would have said, hey, if you want to become a simpleton,
okay,
you'll be a member of the channel. Then yay, you're a simpleton now. Just kind of cool little play on words. But no, definitely Super Russ and Simple Simon are killing it, doing much better than me. So,
well, I hit 750 because of Russ.
Did you? Okay.
I mean, I wasn't far away, but every time I'd gain one, I'd lose two. So,
well, you had that one video where you got like 12 like in a day.
Yeah.
And then that was it for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm catching you. I'm only 5 behind.
Okay.
I'm right behind you. You were pulling away. You were starting to pull away.
You're zooming up and I'm slowing down.
I needed a Hail Mary. I tell you what, a room tour video, I don't know what it is,
something
but the algorithm
eats it. It likes
up.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there wants some subs, do a room tour. I think Russ did a room tour not terribly long ago, but I don't remember how well it did. But I guess room tours are the what the algorithm wants.
Yeah. So you haven't talked yet about what was probably the biggest DC news. That's kind of a follow-up from last week's news.
Oh, the actual casting of Supergirl.
Yeah.
They went with what was her name? I gotta look it up now.
Millie Alcock?
Is that how you say it?
Is that right?
Yeah. It was a viral Big Bang Theory short. Millie, gosh, I can't remember her name.
I think it's
Millie Alcock. You're right. Yep. House of Dragon star Millie Alcock. Yep.
So she is now officially cast as Supergirl.
Yes.
Sales of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow have started shooting through the roof again on eBay.
That's okay. I've already got one. I got one when it came out.
Nice. You were smart to do that.
I on the recommendation of my LCS. So
okay. Well, they knew what they were talking about then.
Yeah. So I got to get Tom King to put his little signature on it, and we'll be good to go. Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Well, there's a few comic books that we haven't been enjoying because of major delays. And one of those is Justice Society of America. So that's the Jeff Johns book. So, like, just to keep in mind, JSA issue 9 was originally scheduled for the 21st of November. Then it got moved to the 11th of November. So they moved it up. Excuse me, the 11th of December. So it was originally scheduled November 21st, and then for the 11th of December, and then the 23rd of January, and then the 30th of January, and then the 8th of February. Well, the book still isn't out yet, and now it's saying February 20th. And they're not really giving reasons why, but there's a couple other titles that have kind of been affected as well. Now, obviously, JSA 10, which was due December 19th, is scheduled for April 9th.
Wonder why the delay?
I don't know. They're not really saying. Fables issue 162 is now at March 12th. That was supposed to be a February 8th. Batman 89 Echoes number 2, originally scheduled for December 18th, and then rescheduled for December 30th. January 30th. Now they're saying March 5th. So, these are kind of big delays. We're not talking like big delays. Batman 89 Echoes number 3, scheduled for February 27th, now has an on sale of April 9th. Batman Offworlds 4 has gone from February 20th to March 19th. Batman Offworlds 5 has gone from March 24th to May 21st. And Alan Scott, the Green Lantern 5, has moved from February 17th to the 5th of March.
I wonder what the big delay is. That's a lot of titles.
They're not really saying, but especially that JSA, which has been continuously plagued with delays. And I myself am kind of excited. I've actually pre-ordered the JSA because this is the main A cover.
Oh.
It's the ladies of the JSA.
Very cool.
So I love that. The last published issue was the guys of the JSA. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what the big delay is. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's see your big tinfoil hat conspiracy theories.
Yep.
Everybody throw one out. I'm going to blame MegaCon.
Yeah, or CGC.
Or CGC. Oh my gosh. I feel like we have to talk about it, but I absolutely don't want to.
Let's not then. Let's just move on.
Because it's hot news, and it definitely affects the community and our day-to-day. I mean, not specifically our day-to-day, but the day-to-day overall of the community. And I particularly don't use CGC, but I think CGC is doing the right thing, and they did their investigating, and they found a culprit, and they made it public that they're going after this guy or gal, or I think it's a husband and wife. So, I mean, they're not just laying down and taking it, even though I feel like they have the insurance for that.
Hey, I want to say hi to Paul S. real quick.
Yes,
and I'm going to honor that request. I'll take down his comment. There you go. It is awesome.
Yeah, Team Awesome. But I know you don't use grading services at all. So what's?
Well, I mean, I have submitted. I don't really buy a lot of graded books, but I have submitted.
Now, what's your take? Yeah, I would consider you. I mean, you do submit, but you're not a heavy submitter. So,
yeah, that's definitely accurate. So I will tell you, my take on this really comes down to one thing. It actually comes down to one word: karma.
Interesting.
Because let's face it, CGC many times has been or replied rudely to customers, or it's done some unethical things. And here, once again, is a situation where they weren't proactive on this. They were reactive, and then try to distract you by saying, oh, look, 9.9 pre-screenings, to try to take your mind off of this.
Yeah, 9.9 pre-screenings.
Okay, Paul's got the answer on our delays for the JSA. That makes sense, though. That really does make sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But
good thing Paul was here to take care of us.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like I mean they did pretty good damage control, but I feel like they could have done better elsewhere, in my opinion. But
yeah,
it's who knows. But hey, it's an excellent time to get your books graded by some of the less popular guys, CBCS, EGS. I know.
Although I will say CBCS, their cases are really nice.
They're beautiful.
The problem is CGC has a better label that people like better.
And I don't know why, because it's just a color, really.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing that a label and a sticker can make the world a difference, but it is what it is.
I think EGS is a good up and comer.
I don't have any EGSs yet, so
I like their business model. I'm not quite on board because the cases aren't quite as tamper proof as I would like them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you submit a book, and I'm going to use tonight's book because I think it's a great segue. So if I set this in for grading, I get to pick the top label, like the color. I get to pick.
Yeah, I like that. The personalization on it.
Way more customization, and I like that. It could really make books pop.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard horror stories though. Yes. What I would recommend, I mean, CGC, from what I understand, you have to be a member to submit books. That might have changed.
That just changed.
Okay.
That's literally just changed, like, I think this past week.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So you don't have to be a member anymore. But I would still recommend maybe CBCS for, like, if this is your first book that you're submitting, just to get the hang of it, see how the process works and whatnot. But yes, and it's a little bit cheaper too. And they have these really nice cases too. So
yeah,
do that. But I agree. CGC, one thing they do great is if it's a Spider-Man book or a Stan Lee book, you get that cool little label up there.
But you pay extra for that.
You pay extra for that. But I wish CBCS had an offering. Like, I don't know what they want.
It's all about licensing it out,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I prefer CBCS. I mean, I'm biased to CBCS because I got to do all my signature verification through them. But it's like Nike. Nobody wants to wear Adidas. I like Adidas.
Hey, Jedi, thanks for stopping by the show tonight.
Yes. But yeah, maybe this is an opportunity to shop around. Give some of the smaller guys a shot. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll be watching.
So, any other news that you want to talk about?
That's kind of it, really. Zachary Levi chimed in on a tweet or an X. I don't know what you call it these days, but he said that no one told him he was done at DC. As far as he knows, he's still.
I think they already threw away his phone number. That's fine. So.
And it's the same with the other Shazam family cast. They all kind of chimed in like, no one told us we were done.
Yep.
So
well, they told Henry Cavill he wasn't, and he was. So.
And he was the first one to go.
Yeah.
He was the first one back and gone.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope they continue the character. And if they, at least recast him because, I love Shazam. I think they did great with him. So we'll see. Hopefully he continues.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, Ben Compton has stopped by to say hi. So hi, Ben. Hope you're doing well.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Compton.
Yeah. So as we segue into the retro review, it was going to be Comic Food 2814's pick tonight, but then he didn't want to be on the show.
No, he had to go get a rabies shot.
Yeah, rabies shot. Yeah.
Yep.
And should we really tell everyone where he's at? I mean, he's not going to get mad, is he?
Where is he?
Well, MegaCon. Well, he was. I don't know if he still is, but the reason people, and we know why the reason people don't know he's at MegaCon, right?
I don't even know he was at MegaCon.
Yeah, he was at MegaCon. He put the squirrel costume on and went down.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, you're making that up.
No, would I make that up?
Yes.
Well, I would, and I might be, but
okay. I was gonna say, like, what? I feel like you would have said something.
he was on his squirrel. He was on his squirrel tour.
That's a rumor we should start. He's at MegaCon.
I've already, yeah.
Everybody go look for him.
You know what? Every convention that is going on when he's not on their show. Oh, he's at Emerald Con. Oh, he's at WonderCon. Oh, he's at C2E2.
He's at C2E2 wearing the squirrel suit. Go find him. He's got a $50 gift card.
Yep. And if he tells you it's not him, that's just a little game he plays.
Yeah. You got to pull his tail.
Pull his tail hard. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I thought you were serious. I was like, wait, are you serious? Like
next week, if he's on the show next week, I'm going to ask him how MegaCon was.
There you go. Oh my gosh. That's so good.
So you picked tonight's book instead. And I mean, I did happen to notice it's a Harley Quinn book.
It is not a Harley Quinn book.
I do think I saw Harley Quinn in this book.
She was in the book. You're right. You're right. It doesn't say Harley Quinn anywhere in the title.
I see her on the cover, though.
That's true. Yeah. She is on the cover.
So why this pick? Why this story? What's your relationship with this pick tonight?
Justice League Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. The game came out, and someone had crammed all the cutscenes together, and it is like a movie. It's awesome. I love it. I think the story's cool. And Suicide Squad is one of my favorite teams in the DC universe, and I was like, let's do something Suicide Squad that was short. And yeah, we got Suicide Squad War Game Special, or War Crime Special. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And this is a great book, written by John Ostrander. So the Suicide Squad OG.
So this is just kind of a one shot.
It is. It is. But I still think it takes place inside the DC continuity at the time. So yeah, it's just a one-off story.
If you don't mind pulling up an assist,
get
started
absolutely
in the retro review. I'll take the first half of the story and I'll let you bring up the rest. Okay, thoughts on the cover?
It's interesting. It's an interesting cover. I have a copy here, but I don't even recognize the art, to be honest with you. It's interesting that the focal point, Amanda Waller, has these scales of justice.
Yeah.
And she's known for her fairness. And notice she's not wearing a blind.
Yeah.
So in this case, justice is not blind. And at times often unfair. So
yeah.
I do want to point this out. Doom Patrol, written by Gerard Way.
Okay.
Trivia: who's Gerard Way?
Milky Way's brother.
He was long time ago. He did comics. He got really famous for something else, and he came back to comics for just a little bit. Someone in the chat definitely knows Gerard Way. I know it.
He was on The Price is Right.
Maybe he was. I don't know. Gerard Way is the lead singer for My Chemical Romance.
Oh, okay.
So he actually was writing comics as a 13-year-old.
Oh, nice.
And he went on like Ricky Lake or something back in the day, like early 90s, when everyone was blaming comic books for whatever. He was a 13-year-old defending violent comics. It was really funny.
You know what I say? Go Ricky, go Ricky, go Ricky, go Ricky.
That's funny. So in September 2016, he came back for one. Cool. But yeah, here we go.
Okay, so War Crimes is the story. We start out in New York City. We see obviously a very important person starting to walk towards this vehicle, and whoever's inside the vehicle, this female says, "Get ready." And then we don't know who this person is yet, but their aides are saying, I thought it went well, and this distinguished gentleman says, well, all interviewers are alike. I've been doing this since before you were born. Just give them nothing and just make it sound like you gave them something. And they're like, "Are you all right, Mr. Secretary?" And he's like, Yeah, I'm okay. I just need my heart meds adjusted. Schedule an appointment with my cardiologist while we're in town. Then all of a sudden, that woman in the beginning that we saw says, go. And all of a sudden, these people, we don't know who they are, but we can tell that they're after this man, and they start attacking. And the defenses say, Mr. Secretary, get out of here. As these thugs start to crash into the people that are assigned to protect him, and they're telling him to go. And it's not working because whoever these people are, they're doing very well and getting close to their target. So finally, this man is like, who are you and what do you want? And he's like, what do you think you're doing? Do you know who you're dealing with? And then they announce themselves to be Strike Force Europa, and they says, you're George Carmody. And they're like, you're going to stand trial for war crimes. Get in the van. And he's like, I refuse. You don't have jurisdiction here. So she just orders him to be brought in. He's like, do you know who I am? I was the Secretary of Defense, for God's sake. This will kick off an international uproar. And off the van goes. So we're cutting now to Belle Reve Prison in Louisiana. Task Force X is there. They're watching the interview that this gentleman did right before he was kidnapped. And Amanda Waller is filling this group of people in on who this person is. They said that's George Carmody, Secretary of Defense in the prior administration, who was grabbed today in Manhattan shortly after finishing the interview. He's been taken to the Netherlands to stand trial before the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes he authorized during the last Gulf action. Then she says the big problem is that he's guilty as sin. She's like, there are people at the Pentagon and Congress making noise about sending troops to get him to invade the Netherlands. Never mind that would start a war with our allies. And she says, that's where we come in. We're going to get him first. And who is she talking to? She's talking to the Suicide Squad. That consists of Deadshot, Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, Mad Dog, Harley Quinn, and El Diablo. So Captain Boomerang is saying to Mad Dog, he's like, what you doing sitting there? I heard that you were a bounty hunter type. You brought in people like us. And he's like, I got framed. And Amanda overhears that and she says, you got stupid. You went up against the wrong bounty who wound up dead. And now you're like everyone else on the squad doing jobs for the government to shave time off your sentence. Your first name really Rex? And Captain Boomerang is like, Rex? And he's like, don't start. He's like, or what, mate? If you want to Barney, I'm your man. And he's like, Barney? And Harley's like, don't mind Boomer Butt. He likes to make up words and phrases and pretend they mean something in Australian. And then he's like, don't call me that. No one gets to call me that. So Amanda Waller says, there's a problem with your mouth, Boomer Butt. It's open. She's like, well, pay attention so you know what you're going up against. And then Strike Force Europa is kind of introduced to them. And now we know who the characters are. The team leader, that woman in the van, her code name is Angel. We have Hauga. We have Shatton. We have Lionheart. And Guerrilla Roar. Did I say that right? I think that's Guerrilla Roar. I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. And they talked about Carmodi's being protected from security from Black Mountain Limited, a company Carmody headed before he became Secretary of Defense. Some say he never stopped working for them. Carmody threw them a lot of work during the Gulf Action Big Time War profiteers. And Carmodi's security were all ex-military. Strike Force Europa went through them in seconds and killed them all. Don't take these people lightly. And she shows them where he's being held at and where he's going to be arraigned at. And they said, where he's being held at, you don't have a shot at all of getting him there. Where he's being arraigned at, probably unlikely too. But he's going to be taken there by a car and in this van. And that's when we're going to get him. You're going to have it's a 3-minute drive. And they're like, oh, and you can't get caught. Because, you have bombs in your heads that explode if you try to escape. And if you get caught, I'll set them off as well. Do you have any questions? And they're like, are you freaking serious? No one wants to be part of this. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. We're going to get killed no matter what. We go and get him and we goof, we're killed. We don't get him, we're going to be killed. And they're like, forget it. And she's like, I could set all these off right now. And I will if you don't simmer down. So they know that Amanda has them. And they're like, 3 minutes, Rick Flag says, 3 minutes isn't a lot of time. I assume you have a plan. And she's like, oh, yes, I have a plan. 4 days passed, and now we're in the Netherlands at the detention center where Carmodi's being held. It's the moment where he's about to be transported now from where he's being held to where he's going to be arraigned at. And he's got this escort, military escort. Suicide Squad is there. They're in position. They know that he's about to come. They're like, let's find him and let's get out of here. And then Captain Boomerang's like, oh, bloody hell. And there is their opposition. And they're like, Americans, we knew you were coming. Surrender. And they're like, to you, not likely. And they initiate a battle. So Angel tells Strike Force, do not play with them. They are dangerous. Just take them down. And she radios to let them know that they have a situation and they should take the prisoner back to the detention center. So back in the car, they're like, okay, we're turning around. We're taking him back to this detention center. And Carmodi's like, what's going on? Then this other man's like, relax, sir, it's under control. He turns around, fires the gun, and kills the driver. And he's like, oh my God, what the hell? And he says, now, Lawton. So there we have Deadshot pulling up. And I love this next panel. This feels so TV, television. And he pulls up there, runs right up on the roof, gets up there, jumps over, starts firing at the squad of people that are protecting the cars on the motorcycle. And Carmodi's like, I demand, who are you people? What is going on? And he's like, we're the ones who are going to get you back to the States. Now shut up. All units, this is Flag. Withdraw and get to the rendezvous. So Rick Flag has infiltrated that vehicle and was the one who shot the driver. So back as the two teams are battling with each other, Angel is trying to get communications to see what's going on, and she can't get a reply from the convoy, so she thinks that something's going on. And Captain Boomerang's like, okay, he's got the message already from Rick Flag. He's like, let's get the hell out of here. And Harley wants to drive. So there we see Mad Dog, and he's like, Harkness, give me a hand. I'm hurt. So he's talking to Captain Boomerang. And instead of helping him, Captain Boomerang kicks him back, and he says, sorry, Rex, you're a dead loss. And he's like, you bastard, wait. And then Captain Boomerang does the unthinkable. He messages to Amanda Waller and says, Boomerang to the wall, doggy's in the pound. And she's like, oh, is he now? She clicks the button. As Mad Dog's about to be attacked, the bomb in his head goes off, and he's dead. That's our halfway point in the story, and Tony will finish the rest.
Yeah, so they're driving here, and they encounter Shadow, who's able to crash the motorcycle and flip the car and get a hold of the secretary, all in one beautiful fashion. But as they are able to get into the car, the Suicide Squad is right behind them. Helicopter takes off. It's a big deal. Deadshot is hurt. Rick Flag is hurt. Now they're like, listen, we have a even bigger problem. The police are here. We got ambushed. It's not looking good for us. But an ambulance arrives, which is interesting. So they get the helicopter, and it's just El Diablo, Boomerang, and Harley, and big gun battle goes off. They don't know what to do. They kind of get pinned down, and Boomerang's got this. He's always got a trick up his sleeve, and he's got this explosive boomerang, and it hits the tail end of the helicopter. Helicopter comes down, kills a bunch of bad guys, but for some reason doesn't kill anybody inside. And I forget this guy's name, the big guy with the concussed fists already. I forgot him, but anyway, he's able to show up, and he's just going toe to toe with El Diablo. He's firing these big concussive waves, and El Diablo's trying to block it with his big fire. But Harley's trying to investigate the helicopter. She gets ambushed by Shadow, and I do have to call out this, cheesy line here. Oh, martial arts? I know, crazy. Like, of course, typical Harley thing here. But yeah, the battle ensues. But it looks like Rick Flag and Deadshot are bringing up the rear. They liberated the ambulance, and they're coming to the rescue. They grab everybody. They've got the Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. Throw them in the back of the ambulance, close the doors, and fly out of town. Finally, they get to the docks, but the bad guys are right behind them. Maybe the good guys in this case. It all depends. They jump on the boat, and for some reason, Harley Quinn is insistent on driving. So they take off, and Task Force Europa is saying, "Hey, listen, they took off. They've got the Secretary of Defense. What can we do? Bring us a helicopter. We're going to go after them." And the reply is, "Yep, sorry, not going after them in a helicopter. The weather's too bad. Ain't going to fly." They make it to this Royal Air Force hangar, which is this former RAF hangar, which is where they're supposed to meet and get on a plane, head back to the States. But Waller's there, and she's like, "Okay, team, good job." And Secretary of Defense recognizes Waller, and she's like, "Great, let's go. Let's get out of here." Boom, she shoots him dead. He is toast. He's definitely dead. And they're like, "Oh, what are you doing, Amanda Waller? Like, we just risk our necks to get this guy, and you kill him." And Amanda Waller has one of the best lines in the story. Like, "Listen, don't even worry about it. Death certificate's already been printed. It says heart attack." Typical government fashion, right? And it's funny because they're more upset. Like, we could have just shot this guy from like a mile out. You know what I mean? But no, Amanda Waller wanted to make it seen as an escape. And that was the whole plan. Just get him here, get him killed, so he can't go squeaking. And at the end of the story, Amanda Waller's walking off, and she says, "Listen, all of you have tomorrow off, but be ready. The next day, we've got work to do." And that brings us to the end.
Interesting.
Yes.
So your thoughts of this story, and how would you grade it on a 1 to 10 scale?
I like it. I really do. It's not my favorite Suicide Squad story, but I like it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I think that this definitely works much better as just a one-shot issue as opposed to busting this up into like multiple or even a 2-issue arc, because there isn't like really a big cliffhanger point so much, so to speak, in the middle. One thing that I really thought of, and I'd love to have your take on this. I'm so surprised that Amanda Waller, knowing who she's dealing with, would just take someone's word for it that he betrayed the team instead of verifying it. So she just takes his word and she just kills him, and he didn't do anything.
Well, I think that Boomerang's been established in the squad. You know what I mean? He's never tried to pull, any fast ones by Waller. So Waller maybe, trust that a little bit. No, sir, I did not.
He's saving that for Valentine's Day.
I will not say that on Valentine's Day either. So
there you go.
Good luck.
And hello to John's Comics with Kids. Thanks for stopping by.
Hello, sir. But I agree. This is a great standalone story. I will say one thing: when they introduced Rex, the bounty hunter, the first time I read this story back when it was released, I was like, "He's dead." As soon as I had no clue who he was, like, this guy.
Yeah, because you're like new character,
new character, no one's heard of. He's dead.
Yeah. But I just thought that was kind of interesting,
Yeah. And I don't think Task Force Europa has ever been seen from or heard of again.
Yes, thank you for correcting the pronunciation, since I screwed that up big time in my review.
Oh, what did you say? I mean,
we don't really have to. They can rewind it.
When I say Europa?
Yeah, and I think that's correct.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe it's the European.
I struggled with some names in this story.
There's a lot of weird names, it's all.
And plus, they're characters. A lot of first appearances and characters you're not
Ooh, is this a key? Let me look.
I believe it is.
It would make sense that it would be, because you're right. There's a lot of characters in this one for the first appearance. So we'll see. One of them was Ferreyra or something.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. Nope. It is not a key.
I mean, I guess it would be a minor key because any first appearances are at least minor keys at.
Who knows? Maybe James Gunn will bring these guys back. He's really good.
I mean, literally, you never know.
Yeah.
It's a comic like this can influence some filmmaker who hasn't even had their break yet. You know.
I could see this being a movie. They could stretch this whole story out. You know, put some details behind it.
Yeah, I definitely felt like cinematic ties, like when I was talking about El Diablo Deadshot, and with that motorcycle right up onto the car. I mean, you could see that play out like on a big screen at least.
Oh yeah, I think it's totally possible.
Yeah.
Hey DC, if you're listening,
I'm sure they are, because this is the greatest DC comic show on YouTube.
It is. It certainly is.
Mm-hmm. Why would we say that if it wasn't true?
That's true. Oh man. But
I think I'm going to go with. So I read the full issue, and I've never read this before, and I kind of read it half one night and half the next morning. The first half is a little bit slower, and the second half kind of pays off. So I'm glad that I continued reading it, because that bumped my score, because it's a little bit slower in the beginning. I'm going to go. What did you do? 7?
I did
7.5. Okay.
I did 7.
I'll do 7. I think 7's fair. 7 out of 10 is fair. And one thing I like too is how they tied in the death at the end, saying, "Oh, the heart attack. We already have the death certificate printed." But if you go back to like the second or third page in my story, he talks about needing an appointment with his cardiologist.
Smart. That's Amanda Waller for you.
It's literally setting it up for the end of that story.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So
I didn't even put those two together.
Yeah. Makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
Known heart issue. So
yeah. I think Amanda Waller did a good job.
Yeah. Okay.
Good story.
Yeah. So I want to just let the live chat know that we're going to have a little extra playtime on this episode. So we're going to get into the book show portion, but when we get done, we'd love to just kind of chat with you guys about anything that you guys want to talk about. So
throw the link out there. See who bites.
Oh, I wasn't going to bring them in. I was just going to let them do questions and answer. No. We don't do that on the Magic Lasso channel.
Okay, fair.
So, do you want to do book show first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay. Spider Friend, go for it.
I have for my little book show here, like I said before, I'm a big Suicide Squad guy. So I've got the DC Universe #1 Suicide Squad cover A. And you can kind of tell, maybe back here, that I've got the poster on the wall, the actual promo poster from my LCS where I bought this from. And I should have brought it to Comic-Con to get it signed. I don't know why I didn't. But I should have, and I'm kicking myself for not doing it. So, but yeah, I really enjoy the Suicide Squad, so I'm always picking up all the issues. The new ones as they come out. So I really enjoyed that one. The one we just did. This one's great too. There's some very interesting characters in here. I won't spoil it for you, but definitely worth a read in my opinion.
Yeah.
Stuff coming up on my channel. I got a top 5 foil thing coming up. I don't know. The algorithm said that they like it, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see if the algorithm is nice to me. So that's coming up at some point this week. Stay tuned.
Well, my channel was very active. So since I did Fanboys last week, the night after I did a Comic Book Editions live with Comics for Thomas, where I unboxed an AOK that he sent.
you got some good books in that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And then there was the back issue of the week YouTube short The algorithm did not like this one at all. I think the last time I looked earlier today, 18 views.
Ooh.
That might be my poorest back issue of the week. Even my giant-sized man thing garnered many more views compared to 18. So that's too bad because it was a good book. At least I thought so. And then I did a comic book editions video. I showed some Christmas gifts that I received that tied into comic books and superheroes from my great friend Mr. Fridge Art. And so all of that was on my YouTube channel already and is archived there for you to watch. Coming up, of course, there's a back issue of the week YouTube short dropping tomorrow that will be in connection with Black History Month. I have on Tuesday. So when I did that AOK Live with Comics for Thomas, there was a stack of books that I didn't show. These are books that I purchased myself. Thomas lives in Canada, if you didn't know that. So
no, I didn't.
Sometimes, like in his area, he'll find books that I'm looking for, or he'll say, hey, my LCS has this, or this seller has that, and sometimes I'll buy books and then he holds on to them. And then whenever he sends an AOK, he just includes the books that I bought. I'll PayPal him some money. So that stack of books that I took out but didn't show that weren't the AOK, but they were just the books that I bought myself that he sent with it. That's what I'm showing in the comic book editions video dropping on Tuesday afternoon. So that's what's coming up. Now, book show wise, there's two things I'd like to show today. And I'll get started with this one. How about this, which was a Mr. Fridge Art Christmas present that I showed in the video that dropped this past week. That is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, the SDCC silver screen foil variant.
That's hot.
How about that?
I have the Booster Gold.
Oh, you do? That's cool.
But I tried to get that one, but they're so expensive.
Yeah. Well, he went to SDCC and scored one for me and a couple other SDCC exclusives as well.
Lucky.
Check out my video for that. We got Crypto over there. And I think that's awesome. John's given a thumbs up on that. And like we were talking earlier during the news segment, I kind of feel like this is the week of Supergirl, or she's having the best week ever in comic books, this week. So a lot of attention about her. So that's one thing I wanted to show. Then the other thing isn't a comic book, but this is something that Thomas sent me that I unboxed. So here's the outer box.
Oh.
Do you know what this is, Tony?
I don't. Maybe I didn't watch that part or came in late or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen that before. Yeah.
So this is...
I've just never seen it in that box before. That's cool.
This is a $20 $20 Canadian silver coin. Sorry, I know the light, it's not liking that very much, but...
Oh, right there. It's perfect. Oh, yeah, for a second.
I know, for a second.
Yeah, these cameras are weird, but that's cool.
But that ties in with the Action Comics #1 renumbering they did, And this coin, I think, came out 2015 or so.
Mm-hmm.
This thing sells for pretty good, no pun intended, coin. Because, I just looked for a stock picture to use in a video. And I found one, and several places are selling this thing for like 110 USD.
I wonder why. Price, the price of silver.
And plus, you can't find it anymore because it's...
Yeah.
This is like 7 years old already, but I've always wanted one of these superhero coins, and I'm so excited. I never even told Thomas that I wanted that. He just kind of knows. He sees stuff. He's like, yeah, I think Ryan would like that. And
did they make a Wonder Woman one, or is it just?
They did. Okay. They have some Wonder Woman, and they have some Trinity ones, and I think even a Justice League one. So, but I've always wanted to have one. It's got that nice, cool little box.
That is cool.
I just want to thank him for that. I don't feel like I gave this enough attention during the live, and I'm just so stoked to have that. Yesterday was Thomas's birthday too.
Oh,
so I wanted to mention that. Happy
late birthday.
Yep.
Mr. Thomas.
He celebrated down at MegaCon. No, I'm just kidding. He was not at MegaCon.
Man, I'm gonna disappear this time next year. It's gonna tell everyone I went to MegaCon.
Yep, and we're gonna say you're at MegaCon. Yep. Or HarleyCon.
Definitely not going to HarleyCon.
Oh, okay. So, chat, we've got about 10 minutes left in the show, max. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, ask us or just dialogue about, this would be an open time. I kind of feel like JP and his portion, the whatever we want to talk about portion is kind of
so here's
where we're at right now.
I'll show my silver screen variant. It's a little tough to see.
Oh yeah, I see a booster. That's cool.
Booster gold signed by Mike DiCarlo. So all I need is Dan Jurgens to sign this bad boy, and I think it looks great with the actual first issue signed by Mark DiCarlo.
Yeah, that's cool.
So they're gonna look well.
I like that he used that green marker.
I like it, but I'm also sad at the same time.
You wanted gold?
I wanted gold, and he asked. He's like, "Hey, can I put a gold on here?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, man, awesome!" And he grabs green.
Oh, geez.
And signs it, and he does it, and he looks at it, and then he looks at me. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Don't worry, man. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just happy you signed it."
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
And he's like, "What was I thinking?" I'm like, "I don't know, man." It was really funny. The whole interaction was awesome.
That's cool. That's a great memory.
It is, and I'll cherish it forever. Speaking of,
I want to say something else quick before I forget. For those that are watching in the live chat, or if you're watching in the rewind, you can share with us a cover as your book show. Maybe something Suicide Squad or anything else we've been talking about in today's show. Go ahead and just share it away on Instagram and use that hashtag Fanboys Live in the Retro Review so we can make sure to see it.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of Suicide Squad, so if you're in the appearance of first appearances, she does appear in Legends #1 for the first time. So super affordable key if you're into Suicide Squad or first appearances. This is the first appearance of Amanda Waller, first appearance and origin of Brimstone. So,
all right,
double first appearance.
That's a great cover too. You know what? You know something surprising about that cover?
What's that?
You don't see that homage that much.
You don't.
And that would be a great cover to homage.
You're right, it would. Who did the cover? John Byrne. John Byrne did the cover. Yeah, awesome Dark Side cover. So, Wes, I don't know if you have any books within arm's reach, but if you could grab just one that, if you had to run out of your house right now.
Oh, that's not within arm's reach.
No. It has to be within arm's reach. One book you got to grab within arm's reach.
I would run into the other room and get that book.
No, that's not the game. That's not the game. It has to be.
Although that book, the books that are in there are supposedly in something that's fireproof. So,
if I had to grab one, oh geez, it's within arm's reach.
How about this? How about I just do a random grab for you?
Okay, a random grab. Yep.
And I'll tell you what, and I'll make sure it's DC. If it isn't DC, I will grab again. Okay.
All right, fair enough.
So you see, I'm not looking.
Yep.
Okay, it's DC.
Okay.
Here is my random grab.
Batman the Outsiders.
Yep.
Very cool.
Issue 32. So that's the issue that Batman leaves, and then they rebrand the title Adventures of the Outsiders.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. But if I had to grab one within arm's reach and run, even though I literally would run past every issue I own, it'd probably just be good old Shazam.
Let's see.
Good grade, great issue, great shape. Can't beat that. So, yeah, I probably would. I'd grab that.
Nice.
Yeah. And one cool trick I want to show you guys, little tip from the Signature King before we wrap it up here. So when I'm going to a con, right? Let's say I'm bringing this book. I'm going to get it signed. And I'm like, oh, man, what kind of colors do I want to have them use? I just slide it in here. And a little bit tough to tell, but it's got
Oh yeah.
Like some
Test.
paint markers on it, and I could just slide it in here, and I could kind of like guess what kind of colors I want. If I don't want standalone black, which everybody does black, so I kind of like mine to stick out a little bit. I've got all the metallic colors you could possibly get from Sharpie on here.
Nice.
Silver, bronze, gold, all that.
That's what I like my comic book categories to be: silver, bronze, gold.
Yeah, right. Stretching a lot of gold, but
yeah, a lot of gold.
Since I got like a billion of these just laying around collecting dust, I decided to make one useful.
It's a smart idea.
And then when I decide on a color, I'll pop this off and I'll put a little mark right here of what color I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I can just look at it and be, okay, I want this one in gold. So that's what I do.
And you carry your Sharpies with you in case they don't have the color you want?
I carry all my paint markers and Sharpies with me at all times.
Good idea.
In their own little tube. It's like a cardboard tube with plugs on the end. So it's so I got my books in this hand and a tube of Sharpies in this hand. I'm like a really fat, nerdy Statue of Liberty, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You hold the pen out, I got my books here.
Nice.
Yeah, so while you're going to bed tonight, everybody, just want you to picture me.
Think of that, as
the Statue of Liberty at a con.
Yeah. For truth, justice, and the American way.
Yes. So that's your last image for tonight. So
cool. Well, I guess that kind of wraps up tonight's show. Appreciate everyone who joined us in the live chat. Appreciate you watching. If you watched all the way to the end here on the rewind, that is definitely appreciated.
Double points if you watch live at MegaCon.
Yes, definitely. For sure.
Double XP.
There is in the description to this video links for Signature King, Tony's channel, my channel, even the ones that didn't decide to show up tonight. I even put links for them in there. So that was pretty nice.
Sub them up too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Sub
us up first because we're here.
One of them is slowly descending into madness.
That'd be me.
No. One of them that is not here is descending into madness.
Oh,
and
really?
I won't name them, but they are getting pretty heavy into Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they want to do Pokemon Live and the Pokemon card review show. They do.
Is that what we are now? A network with all these little tiny channels?
Mm-hmm. Remember when Tom branched off and did Make Mine Marvel? No, Fanboys Live and the Make Mine Marvel review.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That's too fun.
Wonder where he got that idea.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kids losing it.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Hope you have a fantastic, successful week, and we look forward to visiting with you next week. Take care. Good night.